Many people often ask me if cherry shrimps can live without a filter. So I'll talk about this topic in today's video. The question is, can cherry shrimps or any other shrimps live without a filter in the tank? Now the answer is not very direct. It has many layers, so let me explain. Cherry shrimps might be able to live without a filter in your tank, but it won't be a happy living. It will be like if I cage you inside a 5 square feet by 5 square feet room and I feed you every day, then you will live. You will live, you will not die, but you won't be very happy, right? It's kind of like that. If your aquarium has lots of plants, live plants, and if the bioload is low, that means if you are keeping only shrimps, not many other tank mates, in that case, you might be able to, keep your shrimps without a filter, but still again, I won't recommend that. On the other hand, if your tank doesn't have that much of any plants and you are keeping other fish with your cherry shrimps or any other shrimps, in that case, if you don't have any filter, then in worst case scenario, your shrimps along with other fish might die because of ammonia rise or too much nitrate or nitrite. So filter is very important. I will always recommend you, if you are keeping any kind of fish or shrimp in your aquarium, you must have a filter. Now that is out of the way, let's explore why people are reluctant to keep shrimps with filter. There are some misconceptions and I want to address those misconceptions. The first thing is, if the aquarium is heavily planted, they think the cherry shrimps doesn't will not need any filter because plants produce oxygen, right? Well, they are right about 50%. Plants do produce oxygen, but when you turn off the light, then during the night time, the plants also release carbon dioxide, and that can be hazardous for your shrimps. For that reason, just because the shrimps are in a planted tank doesn't mean that they don't need any filter. So even if you have a planted tank, I will highly recommend you to keep a filter. The second misconception is filters are too much expensive, so I might just, not buy it. That's another misconception. Yes, filters can be expensive, especially canister filters can be expensive. However, for a shrimp only tank, you don't need to buy an expensive canister filter. You will do great with sponge filter or hang on back filter. These are pretty much cheap. However, for a shrimp only tank, I don't recommend sponge filters or hang on back filters. You can, buy those and your shrimps will be okay with these filters. But there is another filter that is much more suited for shrimp tank. And I will talk about that not in this video. If you want to know about that recommendation, that special filter, then you'll have to read my article. I will put that link in the description box below. Check out that article and you will know why I love that special type of filter that is very cheap yet perfectly suited for a shrimp tank. Okay, so this is the second misconception. Misconception. People think a filter is very expensive, but you don't need to get an expensive filter for your shrimp tank. And the third misconception is, if you have a filter, the shrimplets will not be safe because the filter pump has suction power. It sucks in water through its pipe. So as the shrimplets or shrimp fries are very little, they don't have strong swimming power, so they can get sucked into the filter and die. This is also true. However, you can easily prevent this accident just by placing some filter media or sponge in the inside the intake tube of the filter. Just by doing this, your shrimps won't be sucked into the filter anymore. So these issues are easily addressable. Okay, I also want to address why every aquarium needs a filter. So this is the topic of nitrogen cycle. Because of nitrogen cycle, you will need to have a filter. When you start an aquarium, if you keep lots of fish, they will produce waste. You'll also put fish food in the aquarium. This organic fish food will also start to rot. So as these organic matters decompose, they produce ammonia in the tank. The ammonia is highly toxic for your shrimps. The ammonia, if the amount of ammonia rises, soon the water will get very toxicated and your fish will start to die. So, to battle this ammonia, we need some bacteria, a beneficial bacterial colony. This beneficial bacterial colony will eat up the ammonia and then turn it into nitrite and eventually turn that nitrite into nitrate. Now, nitrate is far less toxic than ammonia. Even though it is less toxic, nitrate can be very toxic if nitrate builds up too much in the aquarium. That's why we recommend, partially changing the water every week or every other week. So when you change the water, you basically replace the old water, some of the old water, with fresh new water. In that way, the amount of nitrate gets in checked. It doesn't build up too much. Now this beneficial bacterial colony will only be in your aquarium when there is a good filtration system. In the filter media, beneficial bacterial colony will grow. It will also grow on the substrate and other aquarium decors, but much of the beneficial bacterial colony will grow inside your filter media. So if you don't have filter, there won't be much of a beneficial bacterial colony, so the ammonia won't be stopped, because the bacterial colony will be far less if you have no filter in the aquarium. As a result, ammonia will start to build up and eventually create a very toxic environment for your shrimps. That's why every aquarium needs a good filtration system. It is a very basic requirement for every aquarium. Now, if you want to know what type of very cheap filter I recommend for keeping shrimps in a shrimp only tank, just check out my article. I'll put the link in the description box below. That's it for today. Take care.